Hey, everyone, it's me. And today I'll be reading The Abandoned House's Secret. But before I begin, and now back to our story. At the edge of Blackwood Forest stood a house no one dared enter. Locals called it the Last Glance House because those who stepped inside were last seen in the hallway mirror before vanishing. Some said it was cursed, others that it was haunted, but teenagers came from miles around to test their luck. Armed with flashlights and shaky courage, they'd creep through the rusted wrought iron gates and up the overgrown path. Only the bravest made it to the door, though, for when the moon hung heavy in the sky, strange things happened. People heard whispers in the darkness, felt icy fingers brush against their necks, and every time someone knocked, they heard chains dragging metal moans. In 1995, 3 friends decided to spend the night in the abandoned house. Kevin was the oldest, a skinny kid with sharp features and a cocky grin. Jimmy was small for his age, always nervous, fidgeting with his glasses. And Tommy was the class clown, cracking jokes to cover his fear. That night, they snuck into the house with flashlights in hand. The full moon cast long shadows on the dusty floorboards as they made their way to the living room. Moonlight spilled through broken window panes, swirling in motes of dust. Furniture lay overturned, as if the house had been ransacked, yet nothing was damaged. "Anyone home?" Tommy shouted, trying to sound brave. No reply. "Hello, is anyone there?" he called out again. Still nothing. They ventured deeper inside, the silence pressing against them like a physical presence. Suddenly, Kevin gasped, pointing to the far corner. "What's that?" they whispered, moving closer. In the moonlight, they saw a rocking chair swaying gently back and forth. "Don't go over there," Jimmy whimpered, clutching his flashlight like a weapon. "It's probably just the wind," Kevin scoffed, walking toward the chair. He reached out a hand to stop its motion, but as his fingers brushed the wood, it jerked violently. Startled, he pulled back, knocking over a nearby vase. It shattered on the floor, sending shards skittering across the room. "Let's get out of here," Jimmy cried, backing toward the door. As he passed the chair, he swore he saw it move again. Then something brushed against his leg. Cold, clammy fingers dug into his skin, and he screamed, scrambling away. Kevin and Tommy rushed to his side. Their bravado vanished. Together, they stumbled toward the door, desperate to escape the house's suffocating grip. As they fumbled with the doorknob, whispering apologies and promises to never return, they heard a voice. It seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "Why are you leaving so soon? Don't you want to stay and play with us?" The voice was raspy, like dry leaves scraping together in the wind. It sent chills down their spines. When they finally burst out of the front door, they didn't stop running until they reached the safety of Kevin's car. Huddled inside, panting and shaken, they vowed never to speak of that night to anyone. The next morning, sunlight streamed through Kevin's bedroom window, rousing him from a nightmare-filled sleep. He recounted the events of the previous night, his voice tight with tension. His friends listened intently, their faces pale. Just then, Kevin's phone rang, startling him. It was the local police. They were investigating a break-in at an abandoned house on the outskirts of town. Had Kevin or his friends been there the night before? They had, but how did the police know? Was someone watching them? As days turned into weeks, the memory of that night refused to fade. Then strange things began to happen. Objects in Kevin's house would move, sometimes as if by unseen hands. Phone calls came in the dead of night, with voices whispering the same chilling phrase, "Don't you want to stay and play with us?" His friends weren't spared either. Jimmy started seeing the rocking chair in his nightmares, and Tommy, the class clown, became uncharacteristically quiet and withdrawn. One evening, while exploring the attic, Kevin discovered an old photo album. Inside, he found images of a family who had lived in the house years ago. There was a mother, her face obscured by a veil, cradling a baby, while a man with sad eyes looked on. Then there were two girls, their dresses flowing like black wings in the wind. One clutched a rocking horse, the other a doll. The girls stared directly at the camera, their smiles wide and unsettling. On the back of one picture was a name scrawled in faded ink, Eliza. Could they be the ones who haunted the house? Kevin sought answers from the town's oldest residents, but all he got were cryptic warnings and fearful glances. "That house has a hunger," one woman told him, her eyes clouded with memories. "A hunger that won't be denied." Determined to put an end to the haunting once and for all, Kevin returned to the abandoned house. Armed with a camera, he stepped inside, bracing for whatever awaited him. Dust motes danced in the slivers of moonlight as he walked through rooms frozen in time. He could almost feel the echoes of laughter and hear the rustle of dresses on the stairs. Then he saw it again, the rocking chair swaying gently in the corner. This time, though, it wasn't empty. Sitting in the chair was a girl, her back to him, her hair a tangled mess. He crept closer, his heart pounding in his chest. As he neared the chair, she turned. Her face was pale, her eyes hollow sockets. She smiled, baring teeth that were long and sharp like fangs. Before Kevin could react, she leaped from the chair and lunged at him. He woke up on the cold, hard floor with a gasp, his heart hammering against his ribs. Dawn had broken, bathing the room in soft, pale light. Shaking, he got to his feet and stumbled outside. Relief washed over him as he realized it had all been a dream. Or was it? As he turned to leave, he noticed something strange. In the overgrown grass at the edge of the forest, he saw a small clearing, and standing in the middle of it, bathed in the soft morning light, was a solitary rocking chair. The next day, driven by an insatiable curiosity, Kevin returned to the abandoned house. Sunlight streamed through broken window panes, illuminating swirling dust motes in the air. The furniture was still overturned, the walls bare and scarred. He explored each room, searching for clues to the house's dark past. In the attic, he found a hidden compartment behind a loose floorboard. Inside, he discovered a diary bound in worn leather. Its pages were filled with spidery handwriting that spoke of a family tormented by tragedy. The entries told of a mother consumed by grief after losing her daughters, Eliza and Mary, to a mysterious illness. The father, John, was driven to madness, the diary suggested, by the loss and the isolation of Blackwood House. As Kevin read, a chill wind swept through the attic, rustling the pages and making the hairs on the back of his neck stand on end. Then, as if echoing his thoughts, a voice whispered through the house, "Don't you want to stay and play with us?" Shaken, Kevin fled the attic, stumbling blindly through the maze of rooms until he found the front door. Outside, the diary slipped from his grasp and landed on the overgrown path. As he bent to retrieve it, he felt a sudden presence behind him. Turning slowly, he saw the girl from his nightmare standing in the doorway. Her eyes glowed with an eerie light, and her lips curled into a predatory smile. "You found our secret," she hissed, her voice like nails on a chalkboard. "And now we can finally come home." Before Kevin could respond, she vanished, plunging to the ground, He felt icy fingers curl around his ankles, dragging him toward the house. He screamed, thrashing wildly, but the grip tightened, pulling him inexorably forward. With a final, desperate effort, he kicked out, catching the diary in the face. It fell open, revealing a page filled with frantic scribblings. The words jumped out at him. Burn the house, bury the diary, break the curse. The words formed a plan in Kevin's mind. He remembered the townspeople's words about the house having a hunger that wouldn't be denied. Perhaps the only way to appease that hunger was to give it what it wanted, a new family to torment. Using the diary for leverage, Kevin managed to break free of the girl's grasp. Scrambling to his feet, he raced to the car, his breath ragged, his heart pounding in his chest. He knew what he had to do. Ignoring the searing pain in his legs, Kevin dashed through the underbrush, his eyes fixed on the house. Reaching the porch, he paused, took a deep breath, and kicked the door open. Inside, the house was a tomb of shadows and secrets. The diary lay open on the floor, its words glowing faintly in the gloom. Kevin felt a presence behind him, cold fingers tracing patterns on his shoulders. Turning, he saw the girl and her brother, their eyes gleaming with anticipation. "It's too late," she whispered, her voice a sibilant hiss. "We've been waiting for you." But Kevin wasn't afraid anymore. A twisted smile spread across his face. "No, it's not too late," he said, his voice strangely calm. "I think I have just what you're looking for. And now I present to you a special treat. As you already know, our main character found the diary, and let's take a look at what was written inside." November 1864. The winds of autumn howl outside, mirroring the tempest in my soul. My Elisa is gone. How can I go on without my little songbird? Her laughter no longer rings through the halls of Blackwood House in the silence that follows. I hear only the mocking creak of the rocking chair by the hearth, a cruel reminder of what I've lost. My Mary is fading fast. The fever that claimed Eliza shows no signs of relenting. My sweet, innocent Mary. How can I bear the thought of losing another child? Already the house is heavy with sorrow. These four walls, once filled with the joy of children's laughter, now echo with despair. When will this torment end? January 1865. The chill of winter bites deep, penetrating even the thickest of woolen coats. The fire in the hearth struggles to ward off the encroaching cold, just as I struggle to ward off the creeping dread that seeps into my bones. Mary is gone, taken from me by the same fever that stole Eliza. My heart, once whole, is now shattered into 1,000 pieces. What purpose does Blackwood House serve me now? Why do I remain here, tethered to this place of sorrow? March 1865. Spring is but a whisper on the wind, a promise of warmer days yet to come. Yet within these desolate walls there is no warmth, only the lingering chill of death. My nights are plagued by nightmares, my days by the haunting specter of loss. I see Eliza and Mary in the flicker of the firelight, hear their laughter in the sighing wind. Are they reaching out to me from beyond the grave? What am I to do? How am I to find peace when peace seems a distant memory? April 1865. The trees burst into bloom, yet my soul remains shrouded in winter's frost. The villagers whisper that I've lost my mind, that I should leave Blackwood House behind, that the spirits of my children are best left undisturbed. Are they right? Can I truly move on? Will I ever find solace again? May 1865. Today, I crossed a threshold I may not return from. I've delved into ancient lore, seeking a way to bridge the chasm that separates the living from the dead. The villagers spoke of rituals, of bargains with powers beyond our understanding. What am I to give in exchange for a glimpse of my children, a moment of their presence? June 1865. The veil between worlds is thin. Tonight I shall make my bargain. I have traded my very essence for a chance to hold my children one more time, to feel their tiny hands in mine, to hear their voices whispering my name. The price was steep, my sanity, perhaps my soul. But what is a life without love, without hope, without my children? July 1865. The ritual is complete, and now I wait. Wait for my children to return, to lead me through the labyrinth of the afterlife. Wait for the hunger within me to be satiated. Wait for the dawn of a new existence. So sorry, ever. This was part 1 of The Abandoned House. Part 2 will be out next week. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more creepy content. Also, check out my social media for updates and other cool stuff. Until next time, happy haunting.